Today, I'm diving into the world of classic literature. Depending on your background, reading classic literature can feel invigorating or daunting. If you yourself have dabbled in challenging works of literature, it seems more doable. But if you haven't, you might be wondering how to do it. Wherever you are, classic literature offers a unique window into the human experience. It allows us to contemplate profound human experiences like life, love, and loss. I will share several of my favorite tried and true classic literature. There are so many titles to choose from, so choosing literature that interests your child is very important. Hopefully, some of my selections will inspire you today. Hey, homeschool mom, I'm Erica Sagert on the Intentional Homeschooler podcast with more actionable steps and encouragement for your homeschooling journey so you can confidently and intentionally homeschool your children without sacrificing your sanity. Grab a pen and paper, your favorite cup of brew, and let's get started. How many of you remember Bridge to Terabithia? It was one of my personal favorites in elementary school. The friendship between Jess and Leslie is a wonderful example of true friendship. They trusted each other, they liked the same things, they needed an escape from their everyday lives, and being together was that perfect escape. And in To Kill a Mockingbird, I can't get over Atticus's amazing example of standing up for what is right, even amidst societal pressure, seeing the good in people, as well as courage. And what about 1984, a dystopian novel that warns of the dangers of totalitarianism, which has had a profound impact on political thought and literature? Before I take you through a list of my favorite titles, I want to encourage you to remember that secular literature can offer a unique perspective on the human experience. Secular literature challenges us to think critically and empathize with others. As Christians, when reading secular literature, we read it knowing that it's not gospel truth. It is written by a human and is influenced by the author's perspective, the historical period, and the area or location that it was written in. This means that every single piece of literature has a certain degree of bias. Have your students look for this bias as they read. By acknowledging the inherent biases in literature and approaching it with a critical mindset, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the human experience. So here we go. Here are several of my favorites. Some are more modern than others. I like to mix old classics like the Odyssey, along with more contemporary classics like To Kill a Mockingbird. And I even throw in a few like The Book Thief that aren't even probably considered a classic yet, but it is good quality literature. All right, well, the first type I'd like to talk about are books that are adventurous and highly imaginative. So Around the World in 80 Days, kind of a quirky, thrilling adventure highlighting the power of human creativity and the wonders of exploration. Swiss Family Robinson, it's a tale of family resilience, resourcefulness, and the beauty of nature. Then we have Tom Sawyer, a mischievous boy's adventures capturing the spirit of youth, friendship, and small town life. And then where would we be without the Chronicles of Narnia? So much great fantasy with moral lessons. There's courage in there, and there's the eternal battle between good and evil. How about some books about growth and resilience? One is Never Quit. So this is a motivational story, And it emphasizes perseverance, determination, and the power of the human spirit. Who doesn't need a little bit of motivation to grow in perseverance? Then what about The Secret Garden? So this is a tale of healing, growth, and the transformative power of nature and human connection. And then there's Number the Stars. So this is a historical fiction based during World War II time. And it shows the courage and sacrifice during a time of war and persecution. And then we have Boys in the Boat, which also happens to be around World War II time, but it's a story of teamwork, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence. Now, this is about the rowing team that was from University of Washington that went in the Olympics during World War II. And so for those of us that live in Washington, Boys in the Boat is extra unique because it's about our state. That's always kind of fun. Here are a couple titles in the mystery genre. The Mysterious Benedict Society. So this is a really fun adventure filled with puzzles, codes, and a group of extraordinary children. Then we have Tuck Everlasting, a timeless tale. And in this book, we explore themes of immortality, life, and death, and also that human desire for eternal youth. Looking for that fountain of youth. All right, how about a few for moral and ethical dilemmas? The Giver. So this is a dystopian novel. It delves into the importance of individuality, free will, and the consequences of a controlled society. And then in the moral and ethical dilemma book, Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. This is a novel highlighting the power of self-education, perseverance, and the pursuit of knowledge. Very, very inspiring to see how this young man learned so many amazing things just all on his own. And then we have To Kill a Mockingbird, which I mentioned earlier. This is one of my favorites. So, classic novel exploring themes of racial injustice, morality, and also in the character of Scout, we see the loss of innocence or the growing up of Scout. Then we have Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, a wonderful biography about self-improvement. There's practical wisdom in there, and also the American dream. This is, about our founding father, Benjamin Franklin. Lots of wisdom in that one. Then we have a couple satire or social commentary. Huck Finn, a satirical exploration of American society. So it's kind of a fun one, but there's a lot to think about in there too, about how the characters interact with each other, they break rules, and that can create really good discussions about when is it okay or is it ever okay to break the rules of society. And then Rip Van Winkle and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. They're whimsical tales that offer a little bit of social commentary. And we explore themes of time, tradition, and the supernatural. How about a couple for the American dream and the human condition? The Great Gatsby. So I just will start by saying The Great Gatsby has a lot of adult content, so it's definitely more for 11th and 12th graders, but it's a tragic love story, and it critiques the American dream. And it explores themes of wealth, class, and the corruption of the American ideal. So it's sort of a story about what not to do or what happens when we put too much emphasis on wealth. So definitely read it with knowing that it has very heavy themes in it. But I think it's important for kids to see the negative effects of seeking money above all else. And then we have The Old Man and the Sea. So it's a philosophical tale. There's a lot about courage, perseverance, and just that human spirit and how strong it can be. And then I these next two are also really good ones for overcoming adversity. Up from Slavery. So this is the inspiring story of Booker T. Washington. And this chronicles the author's journey from slavery to freedom to leadership and all of the struggles that he went through. But his main goal was to be a man of integrity to earn the respect of those around him. Very inspiring and a good point of view to take a look at. And then we have Endurance, which is a harrowing tale of survival and human endurance in the harsh Antarctic environment. We see very strong leadership in this book, an excellent example of that. Next, a few dystopian novels on individuality. Anthem. So that is Ayn Rand's book, and it is a dystopian novel that explores the importance of individuality and the dangers of collectivism. Then we have Cry, The Beloved Country. This is a poignant novel that addresses themes of racial injustice, land dispossession, and the erosion of traditional values. And then we have One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. So this is a stark portrayal of life in a Soviet labor camp, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit. As you read the book, it almost seems like it wasn't that bad for him. But when you study the labor camps and how horrifically the prisoners were treated, you know that he was being treated poorly, but his mindset was so strong that it made you think that it wasn't really that bad. So this book raises lots of really good discussions. And then The Book Thief, like I mentioned a little bit ago, is a heartwarming story about the power of books to inspire, comfort, and transform lives. Then we have The Odyssey, an epic poem that explores themes of homecoming, loyalty, and the human condition. One thing I want to kind of take a break from my list of books and say here is that a lot of these books, particularly the Odyssey and the Iliad, which is kind of, goes with the Odyssey, they're very difficult to read, but we just persevere. And I often tell my students, don't believe that you have to get every single part. Like, you're going to miss some parts and you're not going to understand some parts, but it's a really good practice to go through and read difficult books and get out of it what you can get out of it. And there are lots of helps online, Sparks Notes. Now, of course, I always say that does not replace reading the book, but it can help you understand some of the things that are harder to grasp. Then we have some more dystopian. So 1984 is another dystopian novel that warns of the dangers of totalitarianism and also just the erosion of personal liberty. Then we have Animal Farm, which is a fable that critiques political corruption and the abuse of power. We have Pride and Prejudice, that wonderful British novel by Jane Austen, a romantic comedy exploring love, marriage, and social class themes. It's surprisingly funny. There are so many great lines in that book. And then what about Shakespeare's plays? High school English wouldn't be high school English without some time spent in Shakespeare's plays. They are just timeless works. They explore those universal themes of love, loss, ambition, and the human condition through powerful language and compelling characters. Now, make sure that you read these and gather a bunch of kids together, a bunch of students together, and read the plays together or go see a Shakespeare play. It's much better to read through the play or watch it rather than just reading it silently. Then the last one I'll mention is Robinson Crusoe. So this is a classic tale of survival, resourcefulness, and the human capacity to overcome adversity. So there you have it, a tried and true list of a variety of classic literature. I took my own children through these books as well as several of my English classes at Hope Learning Center. Remember, the journey into classic literature is not just for academic pursuits. It's not just because we have to. It's also a personal adventure. We can discover timeless truths, explore complex characters. We can lose ourselves in beautiful language. We can learn more about ourselves. Don't be afraid to dive right into those classic tales. You might be surprised at how much you and your children will enjoy the adventure. Embrace the classics and make them a part of your homeschooling adventure today. All right, homeschool moms, let's show some love. If you've been nodding along and thinking, yes, someone gets it, please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you are listening to this episode. It's like a virtual high five for other homeschool moms. Let's make the Intentional Homeschooler podcast the go-to resource for encouragement, practical tips, and actionable steps in your homeschooling journey. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as right here where a brand new episode will drop every other Thursday. Until next time, you've got this, Mom.